What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Coach T with Chicago Bears 360. Back with another video for y'all. Listen, shout out to y'all, man. Shout out for hanging in there with me. I was on here Sunday for a little bit. Got a chance to play around a little bit. Sorry about that. Got a chance to play around a little bit with the channel. Understand this new software so we can get into it a little bit. But thanks for hanging out with me, man. Those of y'all that wrote for me for a while, y'all know how I get in. Y'all been hanging out with us for a while. So shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to all the field soldiers. We still here. We still in the building. Salute to you. Salute to y'all. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being patient with me while I figured this thing out, man. I tried to stay away. Man. I tried to stay away from YouTube. Hey, I tried to show him a little mercy, man. But like my man Franklin Saint says,
I showed them compassion. I showed them mercy. I walked away. I was the bigger man. And look where the fuck it got me.
It got me nowhere. It got me nowhere, man. It got me right back on here with y'all, man. I tried to show him mercy, man. I tried to give everybody else a chance, man, to come out here with their takes. But you know how it is, man. It's only one Coach T, man. It's only one that can bring the Bears content with the humor, with the takes, with the content, with the X's and O's, man. That's what separates us from the rest, man. I have to put that out there plain and simple, man. We break down football. We try to remove a little bit of the conjecture. Now, I'm going to go ahead and preface this show by saying I am Justin Fields biased. I'm going to preface this show so we can get that out of the way, right? But y'all know me, right? Y'all know me. My bias is not without warrant. My bias comes from an X's and O's, a football standpoint. I try to remove the conjecture, all the conversations out there about, Justin Fields, Luke Getsy, Matt Eberflus, Ryan Poles, this, that, and the other. I try to remove as much conjecture as I can and to add football takes. So this is what we're going to get into today on this Tuesday show. We asked the question on the intro, Justin or Luke, someone has to go, right? Someone has to go. Who is it? Let me pull my socks brim down so y'all can feel me on that. It's clean socks brim on y'all today. By the way, I don't have a preference to team, baseball team, by the way. You know what I'm saying? It's whichever team, they colors match my outfit for the day. And y'all know, you know what I'm saying? I be putting this show. You know what I'm saying? I be putting it on. Temperatures dropping in here a little bit in the metro ATL or suburb ATL area. I had to break out the flannel, man. So I'll be putting it on. You know what I'm saying? I got hit you with the Shedeur Sanders right there. Got you with the Invicta piece. You know how I do it. Anyway, man. So we're back. Someone has to go. Someone has to go. Is it Fields? Is it Luke Getsy? Who is it, man? Because these guys, you know what I'm saying? They're not clearly on the same sheet of music, man. They're not clearly on the same sheet of music. And I understand the desperation from Bears fans. What is it? What are we going to do? Because long term, I think there's the feeling that we have to make a decision because of the quarterbacks that's coming up in the draft. And that right there alone, I want to ease a lot of our fan base, some of the anxiety, because I want to give you some perspective on this thing, right? This is the NFL. This machine is not going to stop moving. You know what I'm saying? In 2024 and 2025, there always is going to be a next great quarterback or quarterback class that's going to come up through the NFL. So a lot of our fan base is, you know what I'm saying, they're anxious because they feel like this is a quarterback heavy draft. And there's, you know what I'm saying, the next greatest coming out of this quarterback. Caleb Williams is going to break every passing records and win more Super Bowls than Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of the anxiety is surrounded by we have to do something now because it's now or ever. And we have to make a decision on Justin Fields because the fate of the world, the fate of the NFL and the Chicago Bears organization is predicated on this one decision. Well, let me let you know something. The last time we won the Super Bowl was 1985. You know what I'm saying? I was 10 years old. And guess what? It's been 30 plus years since we won it. This organization is not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? This organization is not going anywhere. And as long as we exist, there's going to be football. Wait, I had a chance to chat it up with Jared Payton in X or Twitter Spaces this week. I don't know if I had that on my bucket list, but being able to speak to the son of one of your heroes got to be up there. I mean, it has to be up there, right? So I had a chance to let Jared know how much I appreciated his father. That's the reason why I played football, why I began to coach, man. I'm going to get to the chat section in the section, give y'all shout outs in the section. But listen, I have to talk about this because we have to talk about it, right? Because the fan base is all up in the roar like we are every year. We got to make a decision. This draft class is coming up. Caleb Williams is the next greatest thing since sliced bread. You know, this, that, and the other, right? So we got to make a decision on Justin Fields now. Listen, let's bring everybody back down to say, calm down. First of all, we still have Justin Fields on contract for another year. And then there's the possibility of extending him on 1-year deals, franchise tagging, and all that good stuff. So we don't have to go crazy right now, per se. If your only outlook is that we have to take one of these quarterbacks. But if we really think about stuff, the way this franchise really should have been built and needs to be built is from the inside, from the interior out, from the offensive line and defensive line first out. We took 2 defensive linemen last year. Guess what? The first round of this draft, there's plenty of offensive linemen, good tackle prospects that we can take in the first round, right? Now, for a lot of the Justin Fields supporters, which one I am, admittedly, right? But again, not without warrant. We haven't had anything that looked or resembled anything close to a Justin Fields for decades, right? So why not support the one guy that we've had that had any kind of background, blue chip background from a football perspective? Why not support that guy and then hope your franchise can add pieces around him so we can have competent football for the next whatever years, right? So I have logic behind my takes. And again, y'all know how I do on these X's and O's. Let's not play with me, right? Y'all know who I am on these X's and O's. Y'all know how your boy said on the one show. Denzel said on the training day. How he said?
You know, I'm surgical with this bitch, Jake. How you want it, dog? Huh? Closed casket? You remember that fool in the wheelchair? How you think he got there?
Yeah, don't play me on these X's and O's, man. Y'all know who I am. Since y'all got that message from your boy off training day, I forget his name. Alonzo, do me a favor, like, subscribe, share, man. Share the live. Share on y'all Twitter. I know some of y'all in the chat, y'all on Twitter. Share the live on the Twitter. Coach T is back, man. I'm back. And y'all heard, like Lonzo said, man, I'm surgical with this. I'm surgical with this bitch, especially on these X's and O's. So I'm back because you have to recognize who you are, bro, in this DIY media game, man. I got messed up a little bit. There's no need for desperation, guys. There's no need for desperation. Football's going to go on. Even if we don't keep Justin, we still have to take offensive linemen and defensive linemen and build a franchise where we can protect. Like I always tell you guys, listen. Like I always tell you guys, I got to get used to these cameras. Like I always tell you guys, listen. You know what I'm saying? Your offensive line is like the engine to your vehicle. You got to bust the engine, you're going to have a busted offense. That's just plain and simple. It's plain and simple. You got a busted engine, you're going to have a busted offense. Your vehicle can't move with a busted engine. So guess what? Until we get some viable products up front, really, who do y'all really trust in that front 5? Who do y'all really trust to be able to win one-on-one battles in the front 5, the 5-man protection? Because the great organizations, right, the Super Bowl winning franchises, their guys up front can survive 5-man protection for long periods of time without having to chip with running backs and tight ends, all that. That's the standard, but we're not there yet. So who do you really trust? Tevin Jenkins, often he's a baller, but often injured. Braxton's out right now, injured. Our centers have been injured. Starting guard is injured right now. The only person we've been able to rely on consistently throughout the season has been our rookie right tackle. who needs help on chips every once in a while. Because so we still haven't built a quality offensive line in front of QB1, in front of Justin Fields, but somehow our fan base thinks, you know what I'm saying, this is the standard. That all things being equal, we should be able to trust, you know what I'm saying? We should be able to judge, you know what I'm saying, this quarterback under these situations, man. And none of us working nowhere we work, you know what I'm saying, in non-optimal situation or conditions, you know what I'm saying, thinks that this is right. You know what I'm saying? You go to your job and they're asking you the job, but they give you a butter knife to change a car engine. You're a mechanic and they give you a butter knife, right? It's crazy. That's crazy as hell. Like to offer or ask for somebody to always have to overcome their environment, overcome the people that the other is 1/11th. You're 1/11th of a unit on a football field. So you have to overcome the other pieces. So somebody put out in the chat, man, I'm gonna shout you out in a minute. Tevin Jenkins. Tevin Jenkins and Darnell Wright are probably the only two guys I could say we can count on moving forward. We need a left tackle, we need a center, and we may need a right guard pretty soon. We may need a right guard. High ankle sprain, I don't know how it's going to go. We haven't seen enough of sample size from Nate Davis. I like what he showed us versus the Commanders, but, you know, we don't know how that's going to go because we haven't seen enough of the sample size, right? So we got two guys on offensive line, and this is a offensive line heavy draft, at least in the first round. A lot of tackles up in there. Ola, I forget the other guy, his name's a Nigerian guy, I can't pronounce it. Oshu, something like that. Listen, we can get a couple tackles. Now, watch this. If we don't have to take a quarterback, look at the assets that's going to be available to us this draft. Now, and I need y'all to think about the dream scenario. The dream scenario for this draft is for us, for Carolina to basically be Carolina and dog it out, right? And go over and get that first draft pick spot, which gives us the number one pick again. And Arizona to want Caleb Williams. Arizona wants Caleb Williams and they want him bad. They fall in love with him. Arizona has 2 first-round picks. Arizona has 2 first-round picks. So you package those 2 first-round picks for Caleb Williams along with some picks in the later round, seconds, thirds, seconds, fourth, thirds, and fifths. You can go odd numbers, you can go even numbers with that. And guess what we have? We have three first-round picks. Fashunu. That's how you say it. I knew it was Nigerian, right? I knew it was Nigerian nature. Fashunu, right? I ain't going to call out his tribe. I just, you know what I'm saying? That's the limit of my expertise on that. But listen, 3 first-round picks. 3 first-round picks. You can get your tackle. You can get your, everybody calling out Marvin Harrison Jr. You get Marvin Harrison Jr. And you can get another lineman if you want, right? And convert them to another position, right? Most of the first round is laced with tackles. You can find somebody that's not such a great fit at tackle with shorter arms or something and say, hey, buddy, you know what I'm saying? We project you as a guard, so we're going to throw you in there at guard. Or, you know, there's plenty of centers in the later round, and then you can get you a tackle. You got you a tackle. You got you a center. You got a wide receiver. Now you're starting to build something, bro. Forget the defense for right now. Forget the defense for right now, because if we'll be honest, Bears fans want to see explosive offensive football. If we just tell the truth, that's what we want to see right now. We're trying to transition from the Bears of old, the tradition, the grit and glory of, you know what I'm saying, 85 Bears and middle linebackers, you know what I'm saying, the Buckuses are rest in heaven, Singletaries, Urlachers and Briggs, you know what I'm saying? You can't say one without the other. You got to say Briggs and Urlacher like a tandem. Anyway, we want to move from the old glory to the new stuff, right? And I know a lot of traditionalists, a lot of nostalgic people in Chicago fan base are stuck on it. Some people still call for Walter Payton back there. We need to bring Walter Payton back. Listen, bro, Walter Payton is not coming back. All right, rest in heaven, right? Rest in peace. He's not coming back, bro. Let it go, right? Same thing with the concepts around, you know what I'm saying, play, you know, grit and guts and gory, hard-nosed, line up, you know what I'm saying, get off the bus running style type of football. we're trying to progress into a new modern style offensive focused football. And especially if we're going to build a new stadium, one with a dome, then we can get things really moving, right, in terms of playing modern football. Plus, Soldier Field is kind of small, man. I was just there 3 weeks ago. So 3 games ago. It's small compared to other NFL stadiums. So they want to max out their dollars. They need to go indoors anyway. Separate subject. But listen, we have to the ideal situation is, right, if we build around the kid, even if he doesn't pan out as a long-term solution or not, give him a new offensive coordinator, right? Give him a new offensive coordinator, and you know what I'm saying, allow the offense to be built around his skill set. Or watch this, the league is changing anyway. The league is changing anyway. And here's the thing. I'll say this, right? I haven't watched a whole lot of Caleb Williams football. I didn't even watch a whole lot of the Notre Dame game, right? But I'll say this for those, I challenge those that do watch a lot of college football, watch a lot of Caleb Williams. You know what I'm saying? What is the major difference between what we have compared to what he would be, right? The wild off-schedule throws. He reminds you of Patrick Mahomes. He plays in the Luke Riley system. What is the history of Luke Riley quarterbacks? Jalen Hurts, who started at Alabama. You had Kyler Murray, who's going to end up being a bust. Who else? Who else came out of that system that panned out in the NFL, right? That's the thing that people are not paying attention to, because, again, it's about systems. It's about fit, right? It's about systems. It's about fit. It's about styles of play, right? And there's some talk about some things later on that fans don't want to talk about, but it's the reality of the game. It's the reality of football that they don't want to talk about. They want to sweep under the rug, and they don't understand. The NFL game is changing, right? The day of the statuesque quarterback that stands in the pocket and dinks and dunks the ball down the field is coming to an end. I'm telling you, more athletic quarterbacks who just happen to be black are coming to the league now. And most of the college football landscape is a read and respond type of offense anyway. It's RPOs, it's zone read. And college football is allowing these kids to use their legs, right? So when you get an offensive coordinator like Luke Getsy, who wants to implement his system, which is strictly based around having a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, let's call it what it is, right? Who's a pseudo West Coast offensive system that claims to be a Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan style system, which is not, because I'm a Kyle Shanahan nerd, right? I'm a Kyle Shanahan nerd. This is not Kyle stuff. I'm telling you, because if it's Kyle stuff, if it's Kyle Shanahan stuff, where are the outside zones? Where are the counter plays? Where are the pulling guards and tackles and tight ends and fullback catching the ball out of the backfield? Where's the fluidity of the offense, right? But one thing that I look for as a signature of a Kyle Shanahan offense, he's going to run counters and powers. He's going to mix those in with outside zone. He's going to mix those in with toss sweeps and stuff like that. And Luke runs none of that. You rarely see our guards and tackles and tight ends pulling across formations as lead blockers for our running backs to get them free up in the run game. Where's the physicality of offense? Because when people watch San Francisco, the physicality of the offense that people laud about that offense, it's really the power gap concepts that he runs, which are the pulling guards and puller tackles, where he gets Trent Williams out on the perimeter. He gets his guards pulling. He gets his tight ends pulling. He'll even have wide receivers pulling across the formation. The blocking scheme is the same, which is got power, and he'll run some outside zone, but he mixes the backfield motion is the only thing that makes the play different. You'll have his quarterback and his running back, his wide receivers doing all kind of wild stuff in the background, but all he does is pull tackles and guards in front of him and get them moving. And he dresses it up on the back end with eye candy motion first, and then he'll get the quarterback to give a fake. Quarterback could do a pirouette, some crazy motion, hand it to the running back, or he'll throw it out and get the ball out of his hand quick. Where is that stuff? If this is a Kyle Shanahan, if it's a McVay system, where are the split zones? Where's the plays where the quarterback is playing under center, right? Y'all remember the Sean McVay split zones where the quarterback is playing under center, snaps the ball, reverses out to hand the ball off, and you see the tight end cross the formation, and you run zone with that. And the counter play off of that is the naked boots hit the tight end in the flat with the 3-layer throws, the flood throws, right? Where is that? This resembles nothing like that. Nothing like that. And for the life of me, right? For the life of me, I can't understand. How is it? Y'all explain this one to me. How is it that we skip from understanding, we go from the responsibilities, right? So watch this. You have a GM who hires a head coach. The head coach's responsibility is to oversee the football operations, the team, the coaching staff, and all that other stuff, and to put people in the places that are technical experts in their jobs. How is it that you can go past the head coach and say, all right, it's on the head coach to call the offense? Or in our case, we understand there's a combined responsibility between the head coach. The head coach is also the DC. But guess what? The head coach is still the defensive coordinator. He's still responsible for the defensive staff and all the nuances of the defense. He's still responsible for saying, we're going to run a 4-3 or 4-3 or 3-4, and this is what I want to see in this system. I'm going to do twists and stunts. So defensive line, you go coach the defensive line to come off the ball and reset the line of scrimmage. Also teach them these twists and stunts, because these twists and stunts go with this coverage on the back end. This is what I'm doing with my linebackers. This is what I'm doing with my cornerbacks, right? How do we bypass that and go straight to the players? One thing that I understand about fandom, I understand about being a fan. Y'all understand. You know what I'm saying? I'm used to being on the sidelines. I don't do this BS. Yeah, I ain't, you know what I'm saying? This is like my 3rd or 4th year being away from football altogether. I'm not used to this type of fandom. But what I understand about football is this is how staffs are constructed. How do you go past that as fans to straight to blaming the players and not holding the senior management of the coaching staff responsible for their people or personnel and how they're playing, right? So in this case, in this situation, I'm talking about the coordinators. I'm talking about, in this case, particularly the offensive coordinator. He's responsible for designing the system to fit the player's skill set. I don't care who you have, right? One thing people can talk that noise about high school football versus college football versus the pro football. It doesn't matter. I'm trying not to cuss. It doesn't effing matter. One thing I can say about high school coaching is, guess what? Their coaching is legit on that level, because guess what? You don't get to have prima donna football players year after year who, millionaires and all this other stuff. Guess what? In high school, you have to coach what you have. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to cherry pick players and draft players to fit your system because you only know one system. You only know one way of coaching. You can't do that. You can't do that. You don't get to do that, right? So you have to coach what you have. I have to adjust my system every year to my players. So if I didn't have a guy that could throw the ball 60 yards, 30 yards, 20 yards, he couldn't throw the football at all. Guess what? I will run a wishbone. I will run a wing T. I will run a triple option. I will run zone read. I will sweep you to death. Guess what? That's what you do as a coach. That's your job description. You call plays to fit the skill set of your players, right? So how do we go past that to straight to blaming the player. I don't get it. I don't get it. And again, what it is I think a lot of us have implicit bias because our only frame of reference for a good quarterback play is white quarterbacks who can't run, who don't have the ability to run. But guess what? The game is changing. The college game is changing. So guess what? In college, if these guys are taught zone read, read the end, if the end flexes out, if he surfs, give the ball away. If he doesn't, he crashes, keep the ball and run. Oh, the counter or contingency play off of that is if they walk the safety up on the zone read to account for the quarterback, then you go to the RPO game. So watch this RPO game. Read and throw. Read, throw, or run. But guess what? We have coordinators who haven't adjusted to the game and say, oh, okay, the only thing I know is Aaron Rodgers style of ball, and I'm going to make a round peg fit in a square hole and force a guy that has athletic ability, that somehow magically forgot how to throw the ball. I'm going to force him to play a style of ball philosophically that he's not used to. Justin Fields hasn't forgot how to throw a football. What I don't understand is when people say, well, why isn't he making the simple plays? Right? Why is he making the simple plays? No, you tell me, experts. You tell me why he's not making the simple plays. He forgot how to play football. This guy's been an Elite 11 quarterback. He won in high school, won Elite 11 over Trevor Lawrence, right? Went to Georgia, dealt with his BS, went on to Ohio State to have a great career, and somehow he forgot how to throw a simple out pattern to DJ Moore, right? You tell me, what's the logical explanation? Oh, he doesn't know how to read coverages. That's a trope. That's not a good explanation. That's a trope. It's not that he forgot how to play football. Guess what? That's why you don't breeze past the offensive coordinator, because you got to think of it. It's like reading a book. What you're taking in those situations is you're taking a sentence out of a book and you're defining the book by the sentence. You're not thinking about the whole book. If the book was bad, chapters, it's 13 chapters and 12 of them were bad, right? And you had one good chapter. Is the author a good author? That's crazy to me. Is the author a good author? You had 13 bad chapters and one good chapter, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, you had one good chapter. Why isn't he reading the good chapter? Jimmy not reading the good chapter well. I had 12 other chapters of poorly written sentences, right? And somehow Jimmy's a bad reader at chapter 12, which is the one good chapter. Jimmy's a bad reader because I had poorly worded sentences for 13 chapters and one chapter was written well. But the problem is with Jimmy. That's crazy as hell to me. It doesn't make logical sense. So guess what? You don't account for the other 12 chapters that made Jimmy not confident in his reading ability? I can't break down, I can't give you a better explanation to help you understand why this kid is struggling better than that. You give him 12 chapters, you give him 13 total chapters, you write 12 chapters of BS, and one chapter in the middle was a good chapter, and you say, this is what you should be confident in what you're doing because I gave you one good chapter to read. You shouldn't be doubting yourself. You shouldn't be doubting your ability because your whole life you knew you were the guy. You knew how to play football, but all of a sudden you can't apply. Anyway, that's my point. Right? So real fast, I said I was gonna give y'all some shout outs. I see Aldo in the comments. I'm gonna address your comment in a second. So I'm gonna give y'all some shout outs. So I gotta do this real fast transition. Y'all know
You get
how
like
it
some
goes.
crazy DMs or what?
Very.
Surprises or no?
It's talking like blue check marks.
Yeah, like
People who be sliding and I'm like, wow, y'all fuck with me like that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Y'all in the DMs. I had to check out the DMs. I got to give y'all a shout out real fast. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, hit the channel, or don't. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be on here anyway, but I appreciate y'all's support. Hey, man, it's just fun for me. It's something to do. You know what I'm saying? So real fast, I got to shout out everybody. I'm King Sean, longtime supporter, Nick Bryden. Shout out to my man across the pond, always being in the space to holler at me. Jay Sanders, Bears Media Con. I see your content out there, bro. You're doing a good job, man. Keep it up. Don't quit. Jay Sanders, Bears Media Co. again. I see you out there. Daryl Spurrell, Julius Blackwell, my man Bear Truth 9, longtime supporter. Yuzi Kazami, USD. I imagine that stands for U.S. Coast Guard. I don't want to assume, but if it does, man, thank you for your service. And Aldo's in the comments. I'm going to address Aldo's comment in the section. Matter of fact, I'm going to highlight it real fast because I'm going to come back to it. Nick Byron, Bear Truth 9 again. Okay. All right, so I'm going to come back to Aldo's comment here real fast. Do me a favor, like I said, like, subscribe, hit the. So my man Aldo says, can you apply the book more for the QB's mechanics or processing, or it applies to coaches only? So I'm gonna do what I hate doing, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna answer a question with a question. Which one came first, the chicken or the egg? You have to understand the order of operations and how things happen. Does the quarterback show up? Does the quarterback install the system, or does the quarterback a benefactor of the system that's installed? So in the order of operation, who's first in the operation? The person that established the system that we're running, or the quarterback? Right? You can apply it and it can go both ways. You can apply it but go ways, but I think again, it's implicit bias. You have to look at, okay, it's the system first. It's the system first, right? If I drop a person in an environment that was already preset, that's bad. Are they a result of their environment, or, you know what I'm saying, they have to just rebuild the whole system? The system is there. They play within the system. I don't know how to explain it. It's which comes first. You know what I'm saying? Why should a young quarterback have to constantly overcome the systems he's being put in? He has to overcome Nagy. He has to overcome Laser. He has to overcome Luke Getsy. He has to overcome the offensive line. He has to overcome last year not having a number one receiver and doing it all. Run for almost a league record rushing yards last year. He overcame. And now he has to overcome not having any running backs to block from him. By the way, if you were part of the show on Sunday, you heard what I said. This is not a surprise to you. I didn't plan on doing a full Bled On show, but listen, I don't just be pulling shit out of my ass, bro. I know what the hell. I'm trying not to cuss. I don't be pulling out my ass. This is what I said on Sunday.
That, because I'm telling y'all today, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if we take a step back. I know that's not what Bears fans want to hear, but I'm going to tell you right now, don't be surprised. I don't want this to happen, but if these guys can't pick up pass pro, right? If they can't pick up pass protection, if they don't know.
All right. I said on Sunday, because again, let me go to one screen when I say this, because y'all forget this. Y'all people be dismissive as hell, right? When people try to tell you something that they know, not what they thinking, right? Yeah, not at the NFL level. But watch this. I held a call sheet before. I've installed a game plan. I've installed an offense. That's what you start with. You install an offense as the offensive coordinator. You install your game plan and you call plays on game day. Now, and within installing your offense, you have systems, you have schemes, You have systems and you have rules. Like the offensive line has to have rules, offensive line rules, right? The center comes up to the line of scrimmage. He counts the numbers. If the numbers are going one way or the other, the center gives out a R or L call, right? Somebody used the word this week for our call on the first play of the game as a rip call. In my offense, if it's a pass play, it's rain. If it's a pass play and it's right, it's rain. If it's a pass play and it's left, it's lightning, right? That means you move the offense to the right, 3x2, right? 3 men block, zone to the right, and 2 on the backside, man up. Left side, lightning opposite, 3x2, 3 zone, 2 man. Those are rules or a blocking scheme. I mean, that's a scheme. Within the scheme, you have rules. So even within that scheme, if you have a variation of that scheme and somebody walks up, say, in between the 3x2, then you install rules to be exceptions to the scheme. You dissect it that way. The offensive coordinator is responsible for all of that. You work with your O-line coach to figure that out. Hey, I need something for this. Hey, Simo, I need something in case this happens. We got to give a call for this right here. What are we going to call it? Hey, coach, all right, we're going to call it this. Okay, go in individuals or indies, and you rep that with the team, right? You rep that. Y'all rep calling it this, whatever you're going to call it. And then y'all rep making it happen, or what it's going to look like. So y'all put fake defenders in front of you, and then you rep it, right? And that goes for every position group. The running backs have a scheme. They have rules within the scheme. The quarterback has the scheme. He has rules within the scheme. So do the wide receivers. If this happens, that happens. Here's the call. Here's the audibles. So the reason why I said what I said on Sunday, because guess what? I put myself in Luke's position and realized you're not going to have your starting running back. And you're a novice play caller. You're a novice play caller that hasn't demonstrated that you know what the hell you're doing, and you're not going to have your starting running backs. And you're heavily dependent upon having the exact personnel you need to run your system. So what you're going to do is either you're going to overcome not having your starting running backs, because guess what, guys? This is not effing Madden. You cannot just plug a running back in off the street, Darrington Evans, and just, I'm going to run my whole playbook. You can't do that in football. He's not going to know all the checks, all the audibles within the playbook, the scheme, the system. He's not going to know all of that. It's a reason why Deontay Foreman was on the bench. It's probably, and I guarantee you, it had nothing to do with his ability to, guess what? Take the ball, put hand over hand, and carry the ball through a hole. It had nothing to do with that. I can find a high school kid in Florida, Texas, Georgia, California right now that's a 3 to 5 star kid that can run the football behind an offensive line in the NFL. It's the other things that make you great or a good running back in the NFL. It's the reason why this kid was on the practice squad. So it's the reason why I said what I said. Either he doesn't know the playbook, or he doesn't know the protections, or he can't pick up all the audibles, all the checks, all the different rules and calls, and that's why he is what it is. So as an offensive coordinator, you're looking at your call sheet and saying, all right, what can I do? What can I get away with? And what Luke did was defaulted back to what he did weeks 1, 2, and 3. That's what he did. He defaulted back to, guess what? Instead of me customizing this game plan for Justin Fields, I'm going to go back to what I know. When adversity hit, he went back to what he knew, and that's to call Aaron Rodgers' playbook or his offense. Instead of him being like us high schoolers and saying, you know what? This is what I got this week, so this is what we're going to do. And this is what I said on another show it should have been. It should have been this. It should have been everybody's a running back on offense. Every skill position player is a running back. So guess what I'm going to do? My wide receiver 1, you're getting carries. My wide receiver 2, you're getting carries. My wide receiver 3, you're getting carries. Tight ends, you're getting carries. These running backs off the street should have got dive plays. They should have got lead plays, right? If your offensive line didn't change, why didn't you run outside zone? Why didn't you run a power formation? Why didn't you run the counters? You can still pull your guards and tackles. You put Valus in there and ran the toss sweep with it. Did the play with Valus not work or not? Did the Valus play toss sweep work or not? It's proof that what I'm telling you is right. Valus toss sweep worked. He should have did that with every player. DJ, I'm gonna send you in motion on jet sweep. Right. I'm gonna show you the same formations that I did versus the Commanders. I'm gonna send you on a jet sweep. I'm gonna hand you the ball and just let you run. This is giving Brian Flores something to think about instead of sending dogs on blitzes, all out blitzes the whole game. You made the man's job easy for him. But I'm crazy. Y'all gotta knock this crap off, bro. Y'all got to knock it off and start listening to people that know what they talking about. I don't listen. My man Greg, I'm having a brain cramp. What's Greg's name? From CHGO. Bro, I'm sorry, Greg. I'm having an old man moment here. Greg said this on a MySpace, or no, not a MySpace. Dang, bro, I'm having an old man moment. He said on Spaces Live the other day. He said, Coach T, we were having a talk discussion. He said, guess what? Sometimes fans don't want to break down. They don't want to know all the nuances of football, right? They don't want to know the X's and O's because it's for a lot of them, it's going to ruin it. Guess what? It ruins it for me too. I can't watch football the same no more. I'm watching protections. I'm watching calls. I'm looking for stuff I can steal. I can't watch the game the way I used to watch it, right? It's not fun. And I agree with that 1,000%. It's not fun to see the game the way Greg Braggs. My bad, Greg. I should know Greg's name because, right, remember this drunk uncle? Y'all remember this?
And I'm like, I'm not gonna, talking about Getsy, and you gave me the drunk uncle award last week for Getsy's head coaching chances.
We gonna talk about that.
Yeah, remember when I gave Greg Braggs the drunk uncle? He's a great sport about it, by the way. But I'm gonna give out some drunk uncles today, by the way. Don't go nowhere, Aldo. You might be a candidate. Anyway, what I was saying. Listen, you have to call. And I wanted to show y'all something, right? Because let's do it. Let's jump to it right fast. That's my boy Braggsy. I love Braggs, man. Braggs is a great dude for a number of reasons that I admire this dude. This dude, I'm telling you, you mess with Braggs, bro, I might have to let these hands go on you.
But I want y'all to picture this visually. I got about 10 minutes to hang out with y'all. I got to get out of here. I want y'all to picture this visually. The first play of the game that everybody keeps showing, right? The first play of the game everybody keeps showing is the opposite of what Luke Getsy should have been doing, right? I'm going to spend about 3 minutes to end this program on what Justin Fields can do to overcome this guy. But I'm a coach, man. I'm going to see coaching first. I don't know why y'all expect or why people will expect me to see anything else, right? I'm going to see the coaching first. But listen, first play of the game, we come out empty formation. Why are we in empty formation? The defensive coordinator knows you don't have your running backs. He knows your offensive line can't protect long enough for you to throw anything deep. Listen to me, please. Your defensive coordinator knows your offensive coordinator, your offensive line is not good enough for you to hold up long enough to throw anything deep. I'll say that again. Your defensive coordinator knows your offensive line is not good enough for you to hold up long enough to throw anything deep. So you come out in empty formation. Now, if you would have had backs in the backfield while you're in the shotgun, one back or a tight end split into the formation or closed into the formation, right? then your defensive coordinator has to at least account for the fact that your tight end and your running back is going to help with the protection. Your cornerbacks have more to think about. Your quarterback's got more to think about because now they're saying, hey, is a tight end going in? This guy can go max protection and throw the ball right over my head. I have to guard. If I'm in cover 3, I have to guard the whole deep third of the field. Safeties have to get back. Corners got to get back. Linebackers have to drop. But you come out in empty formation with no backs in the game. Your starting backs are injured. And you give away nobody in the stadium that knew football thought that there was a possibility that any of those wide receivers, guys that were split out, were going deep. So if I'm a cornerback, I'm looking at this. I've studied film all week long. All I'm going to do is jump the route. I'm going to jump this route and try to get a pick 6. So I ask y'all again, why, as the quarterback, would you feel confident in throwing that ball? When people say, why did he hesitate? I'm telling you why you hesitate when you're a quarterback. Because when you know football, you know why. I wouldn't be confident in that. I could throw that play. I could throw that in pass in practice 100 times. That's why I felt like at the front of the game, it was such a lull, right? These guys weren't confident in this game plan. They were like, we got to run out and run this BS that he's about to call. The cornerback knew you wasn't going to throw it over his head. He knew you weren't going to go on a 9 route, a deep route, or try and burn him with nothing deep. They knew. So why would I be confident? And true to form, you get Nate Davis's guy getting pushed back in his lap, and he still, according to Matt Eberflus, he should float right and zing that ball in there. But again, the reporter asked the wrong question. I'm not faulting him. He asked the wrong question. What he should have asked is, why missing your starting running backs and knowing that your offensive line is heavy dependent upon help from your tight ends and your running backs for max protection in 11 personnel and both your tight ends in 12 personnel, why would you come out in empty formation and run that ball and call that play like that? Why wasn't the game plan heavy dependent upon playing ball under center, running it down the throat of a documented, atrocious front line who was porous all year long? This front line of Minnesota couldn't stop a nosebleed. I believe they've averaged over 100 yards per game for the opposing team's rusher. I could be wrong. Look that up for me. But I believe they've given up over 100 yards per game on the ground. Who didn't read the scouting report? Who didn't do their job? Somebody has to go. And I'm saying this, all I'm saying it is, I'm like I posed the rhetorical question as a show intro. I already know what I believe. It's Luke Getsy. He has to go. Because guess what? If you retain this guy, I'm going to tell you what has to happen. It has to be Tyson Bagent, or you better make sure you draft a guy that's Aaron Rodgers coming out of the draft. Don't get Caleb Williams, because Caleb Williams is not necessarily an Aaron Rodgers style player. Don't get Caleb Williams. You better make sure you draft a Aaron Rodgers clone if you keep Luke Getsy. You won't diet Aaron Rodgers, forgetting the fact that Aaron Rodgers sat behind one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of NFL for umpteen years, and he has a library of wealth that he learned from, and you sat on the sidelines as a spectator. You weren't even the guy. You were the guy that sat next to the guy, that sat next to the guy, that sat next to the guy that called plays. I've called more plays in the last 6 years than Luke Getsy has called in the last 2 years. I've held a call sheet under the lights where at least 4,000 or 5,000 people are in the stand that think they know their job better than me, and I'm holding the call sheet. I install a game plan throughout the week. I watched all the film. My family missed me while I'm up doing film study. I'm installing game. I'm disciplining your kid. I'm being a de facto father to him and all this other stuff, and I'm holding the call sheet on Friday nights while thousands of people in the stand and think they know their job better than me. That's what I'm saying, man. Nagy Jr., as Cliff says, worse than Nagy. This guy's worse than Nagy to me. Worse than that. I hate the whole NFL coaching because guess what? Here's the thing, right? So if I say Luke has to go, here's the thing that happens behind that, right? Watch this. It's only going to be 2 or 3 guys that's actually qualified to take over as an offensive coordinator or head coach for him. Young guys anyway. And watch this. The triangle gets smaller as you take on more responsibility. So these head coach OCs or head coach DC combinations, a guy that does both jobs, it becomes harder to be successful at the job the more responsibility you take on. I said this last year about Brian Daboll. I said Brian Daboll is going to be another Matt Nagy. He's going to have a great year 1. In year 2, after the league catches up to him, he's going to be straight ass. Why? Because it's hard to be a head coach and a coordinator. Because guess what? You have to, again, I walk you through it. You have to install the playbook, your entire system. You have to install the schemes for every position. Then you have to install rules for every position, for every play versus every coverage you think you're going to see. And then you have to get your personnel right. You got to make sure that, hey, I can't do this because we're only so many deep at wide receiver 1, 2, and 3. So kid number 3 couldn't learn the whole playbook. So I can't even call if kid number 1, wide receiver 1 gets hurt. I can't even call this whole part of my playbook because wide receivers 1 out this week and kid number 3 is slow in the head and or refuses to learn the playbook. So now I can't even call that. So either a kid can't pick it up or a kid is hurt or this, that, all the different trials and tribulations that come as a play call and offensive court. You got to overcome all that. And then guess what? If it boils down to on Friday night or Saturday morning or Saturday night or Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening or Sunday night that you have to line your football team up and go student body right, student body left, dive right for you to play competent football, then that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's coaching. 101. You don't put a round peg in a round hole. You're going to make yourself look even more crazier trying to get a guy to do something he can't do than just saying, hey, guys, we're going to line up and play basic football. We're going to go back to day 1 to install. Day 1 to install was zone, outside zone left, outside zone right, inside zone left, inside zone right. Oh, we'll add a wrinkle to it. We'll add a jet sweep motion to the zone to get the defense adjusting them, looking their eyes. But we're going to go hard-nosed football, run it down their throats, and we could have won that game easily had he just – anyway. So let me go to the JF1 responsibility in this. I hold you – I'm faulting this kid on this part. He has to go back to what he said. If there's a conversation to be had about overcoming your play caller, you got to go back to what you said after you throw your offensive coordinator under the bus and said, hey, it's too much. It's all over the place. You gotta go back to F it, and this is what you call, I'm going to throw it. If it's a pick 6 because you called a BS play, I'm going to throw it. I'm going to sail that ball. I'm going to throw it. See, that's the challenge because guess what? At the end of the day, nobody's going to be like, oh, why did the offensive coordinator call that play? They're going to be like, oh, Justin threw an interception. But throw it. But go to the press conference and call it how you see it. Say, I didn't necessarily agree with the call. I just call the plays they call for me. Run from me. It's the politics of the NFL. So you can't come up there and just be like, hey, he called some BS. I threw it. The cornerback knew I wasn't going to throw the ball deep. So I threw the hitch. Everybody in the stadium knew it was going to be a hitch because we don't have an O-line that can protect. So pick 6, touchdown. Throw it. Stop hesitating. Throw the BS he calls. That's what I say. Throw it. Forget it. I would say forget it. Don't try to be perfect. You cannot be perfect in an imperfect system, bro. Don't put that pressure on yourself. So, or the other thing I would advise him, I'd be like, go off script. Be like, hey, man, listen. I don't know if you have to get in the group chat with the other players or whatever and be like, hey, bro, listen, I know Luke put this XYZ in, but we going into this game with these 15 plays, and I'm finna put them on you right now in the group chat. This is the 15 plays that if I check to any of these plays, you better know what these 5, 10, or 15 plays is. And if I call it, you better nut up, sack up, and move and adjust it. If I change the play, you just better know where to go and what to do. Give them about 5 plays you can check into, off script, away from the coach, and just do your own thing. Because this guy don't give a damn. He don't give a damn. And the other thing I'm following at, you got to protect yourself, bro. You got to protect yourself. That's why I say throw the ball away, throw the route he's calling, or use your legs and get out of there, or put the ball in the dirt. Because, like I said, these guys don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. Another thing I'm going to criticize you of, that I was critical of 2 years ago. There is not a time when you step up to the offensive line as a quarterback and you don't know what the offensive line call is, and you don't check the defensive fronts, and you know where the free rusher is coming from. Not one time. The offensive line the center gives the offensive line calls, right or left. They're going to slide the protection to that side. If you don't have a running back in the backfield, you got to know I'm in empty formation. If they slide the protection to the right, you got a free runner coming. You got to know that guy's coming. Either you're going to throw that ball and get rid of it, or you're going to spin out of that. You're going to set him up with your back to him. You're going to feel him. You're going to spin out of that, and you're going to make a play. You're going to make a play. I like this comment right here. Hang on a second. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to highlight a few comments. I'm going to put y'all on blast a little bit before I get out of here. I'm over an hour, but y'all know how much love. Nick says JF1 is too much of a team player. Properly throw Gessie under the bus. Yeah, I think he would have the fans on his side. Yeah, he would. He would have the fans on his side if he just came out and be honest. But y'all know the politics of it all. He can't do that. So, you know what I'm saying? What he can do, like I said, is you can give your guys 5 or 10 plays from the playbook that you really like, that, hey, in a moment you can check out of it, and you can make your OC look. Other quarterbacks have done it before, but y'all got to keep in mind. Aaron Rodgers has done it before. Tom Brady then called something that wasn't called in the huddle, or call over the headset. The veteran quarterbacks will do that. You know what I'm saying? You get a guy that's properly trained, that's the son of a United States Marine. Shout out to my Marine brethren out there, my fellow service member. I'm a retired Marine myself. You get a guy that was taught discipline and how to follow exact orders. You're not going to have a guy that's going to be bucking against authority or the chain of command. He's not built like that. This is a good kid, man. He's a good kid. I know people that know him, like really know him from Kennesaw, right up the road, that know him like third and fourth person. Now, I don't know him directly, but I know people that speak highly of him. Like, he's not going to – his dad is a Marine, former police officer. He's not going to buck authority. He's not built like that. So – even though I'm giving and advising him to, he's not going to do it. And he's definitely not going to do it at 24 years old. Had he been in the league about, 5 to 7 years, I would see something like that. Let me get some of y'all comments before we get out of there. Do I get any more cool graphics I can share before we get out of here? Y'all want to see me give out the Drunk Uncle Award? Let's see. Let me get Cliff up here. Cliff says, Nagy didn't read or didn't care. He wants his game plan because he's smarter than anyone else. Yeah, man. Listen, this is the nature of an offensive coordinator. I'm gonna tell you right now, firsthand being one. You have to be a borderline narcissist. You know what I'm saying? People ask me why on Twitter all the time. Sometimes, I know. Listen, guess what? If you're following me, if you're here now and you follow me on Twitter, guess what? And you don't like my takes or stuff like that on Twitter. Like, this guy's an a-hole, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? I know you think that about me. Guess what? I know you think that about me. Guess what? It doesn't affect me none. When I've stood in on a Friday night, again, holding the call sheet where you got thousands of fans in Florida or in Georgia behind you that think they know their job better than you, right? And why you didn't call this and why you didn't call that and blah, blah, blah. And they got the parents in the crowd and they think their kid's the next great thing since sliced bread, and little Johnny is going D1, but he's 5'4" and 102 pounds soaking wet. And why my kid didn't get playing time? Guess what? You got to be a borderline narcissist. So I guess what? When it comes to this football stuff, especially when you're an offensive play caller or an offensive guy, you better be confident in what the hell you're talking about. Right? So I know on Twitter people think I'm an a-hole. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to eat good, as y'all can see. I'm going to eat good and my money good. So I don't care about none of that. I'm happy and content with myself. And that's how you have to be with this offensive coordinator stuff, because it's not for the faint at heart. When you're going to coach offensive football, more so than defensive coordinator. If you think you have aspirations of being a football coach, if you don't have confidence about yourself, do not become an offensive coordinator. I'm telling you that on no level, because 1,000 people, at certain levels, it's 100, 1,000, tens of thousands think they know their job better than you, and all they know how to do is diagnose the result of a play. I wish I had my laptop working. I was going to draft some stuff up. My apologies. I'm going to be better next time. I want to give everybody some love before I get out of here. Who is my man, Bears Media Company? Listen, do me a favor, go follow his channel. Just now getting started out here on Bears YouTube, I believe. I don't know when I want to speak ill will or nothing, but I just discovered you, brother. That's what I've been saying. Plays are too deep. Oh yeah. Yeah. James Ford, want to give you a shout out real fast and bring you on the TV. I love everything you're saying. And you're right on. Appreciate it, man. I appreciate the support. Not necessarily always trying to be right. I told my wife she knew she was marrying Mr. Right. She didn't know she was marrying Mr. Always Right. The Shy. Shout out to my guy, The Shy. I hadn't heard from you in a while, my boy. I know I hadn't been on here, but it's good to see you. Says Caleb is not the answer. Listen, Caleb is definitely not the answer if you get yourself the same OC, if it's the same OC, man. So listen, yeah. Listen, so I'm gonna give it out today, bro. Just for fun and good nature, I'm gonna give out the Drunk Uncle Award. So let's cue up the graphic. Let's give out the Drunk Uncle before we get out of here, and we can do it like this. And is the graphic gonna work? Oh, bro, come on, man, don't do that to me. Where'd my video go? Oh, I know why it's not working. See, Coach T got to get.
Anything is possible, got feelings in my cup. I see everything in double, got 2 blunts, I'm rolling up. I've been walking in a circle, no expression, now I'm stuck. 30 for the client, cough like Giannis chasing bucks.
Chasing bucks, Shout out to my son, man. Hot on the track. That's G Don't Crash on YouTube. He know how I put it down. I appreciate that young man. He be doing this thing, man, in the studio. Listen, the Drunk Uncle Award, if he's not still here, just because he's in my comments, goes out to none other, my friend and colleague from the Barroom Network. Yes, Aldo from Barroom Network. It goes to you, buddy. You get the Drunk Uncle Award this week, man, because you can't skip past. I see what you're saying. You want a great quarterback. I know what you want. You want a great quarterback for this franchise, so you know it's, guess what? We can't control none of this. We can't control none of this. But I know for a fact, this is what I know for a fact. This OC is not it. I don't know if the head coach can actually be a good head coach. By who he hired so far, I'm saying he's trending towards getting fired. I don't know about the GM yet. He's 50-50, but he's trending a little bit downward himself. But one thing I know for sure, the one thing I can guarantee you is that this offensive coordinator cannot coach offensive football. I believe if we bring in veteran offensive coordinators, a Bill Lazor, a offensive coordinator that's seasoned, this is why Trento is going to get older guys who can still coach football that don't have aspirations of becoming a head coach. Those guys that don't have an aspiration to become a head coach, you can have with your program for a long time, and you have some stability. You have some stability, right? And your staff for a little while at least. But a guy that can coach his tail off, but doesn't have aspirations of being a head coach, will set you up. James Ford said you should listen to Nomad. Shout out to my boy Nomad, who started his own channel. I don't know when that happened, but Nomad used to be a follower of the channel. You should listen to Nomad. Coach, you should listen to Nomad. Coach, you should listen to Nomad. Coach, you should listen to Nomad podcast. I'm going to check Nomad out when I have time. Yes, Nomad used to be a regular in the comments over here. So, yeah, matter of fact, Nomad might have invited me on at one point. Anyway, I'm going to get to it. But, yeah, you need to get somebody in there that knows what they're doing for sure, and somebody that can customize this offense and call to the strengths of your quarterback. Your GM needs to get this offensive line fixed and the defensive line fixed. And then you know if you have a good football. But offensively, definitely, we got a wide receiver one. Get the offensive line fixed and get a guy in here that can call and customize an offense to fit the skill set of your quarterback. And I think you're going to be happy. That's the thing we know for sure, right? And if he can't play, then fire his ass. I'm okay with it. I'll say that. I'll be like, he can't play. He can't play. He threw an interception there, blah, blah, blah. But watch this again. Go back to weeks 4 and 5. When he customized the offense to the skill set of his player, the players thrive. Almost led the league in offense, in passing yards and touchdown versus interception ratio. And we started wondering. And that's when I gave Luke a break. I was like, maybe Luke can coach. If he's willing to show that he can adjust, he's willing to coach. But watch this. At the very first sign of adversity, what did we have? Because I'm telling y'all today, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if we take a step back. I know that's not what Bears fans want to hear, but I'm going to tell you right now. Don't be surprised. I don't want this to happen, but and that's what we had. Exactly what happened. What I said would happen Sunday. We took a step back because adversity set in. Lou Gessie's butthole puckered up, and old boy went back to what he knew, which is, let me call the same old Aaron Rodgers nonsense that I know. So listen, man, it's been over an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to clip this up and put it out here. Before I get out, let me give you a quick update. There's talks out there about Jalen Johnson being traded to the San Francisco 49ers. Listen, that would be a great move for Jalen. Hate to see him go, but I would hope to God that Ryan Poles would get Nick Bosa, some draft picks out of the situation. If he comes away with this situation, and I know I'm reaching, I know Coach T is reaching, but if he comes out of the situation with Bosa and multiple draft picks, I would be ecstatic. The other part of this is, listen, this staff has not been high on Jalen for some time. You can tell it when they speak about him and all this other stuff. So, it might not be a bad move to go ahead and part ways with him now early and get some compensation behind him, and see what we can do about that. And then I know there's other news going on out there, but we'll catch up with it next time. But I just wanted to get my feet wet again and doing shows, and then we'll be out here. Bye. So shout out to y'all. Listen, I'm going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Then you can catch me on the Barroom Network. If Aldo doesn't fire me for giving him drunk uncle, you can catch me on the Barroom Network at halftime, and then the post-game show giving commentary to the game on the Barroom Network. So listen, check me out. I'm going to clip this up and make it shorter and share it and post it out on the page so it can be there so y'all can go back to. But I appreciate y'all. Appreciate your support. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Let's make this thing roll. So bear down.